Last night, a broke mom spent her last $8 on a stranger who looked like trouble. This morning at 7 o'clock, 100 motorcycles turned onto her street. If you think you know how this ends, hold that thought.
Yeah.
Let's rewind 12
Okay,
hours. Sienna Clark is 32, a black single mom with 2 jobs and a rent notice ticking down. Her 6-year-old daughter, Maya, needs an inhaler that costs $60 Sienna doesn't have. Breakfast is half a banana and a few crackers so Maya can eat first. By 10 that night, the diner shift ends. Tips, $23. Add what she had left from yesterday. After bus fare and a small envelope slid under the landlord's door, Sienna stares at what remains in her palm. $8 for breakfast tomorrow, maybe dinner. $8 to hold an entire life together. She starts the long walk home. The city is a cold whisper around her. She cuts through a gas station to use the restroom. The lights hiss. The lot is quiet. Then she hears it. An animal sound torn from a human chest. A large man near a chrome bike stumbles, grips his sternum, and drops hard to the asphalt. The clerk at the doorway says, "Don't get involved." A passerby mutters, "You've got a kid. Walk away." Sienna remembers her grandmother collapsing years ago while strangers kept moving. She will not be that stranger. She dials 911, 1 bar. The call drops. Her heart punches at her ribs. She bolts inside, grabs aspirin and water, $6.50. It's everything she has left, and she spends it without blinking. Back at his side, she presses 2 tablets into his palm. "Chew," she says, firm but shaking. She tips the water to his lips. His hand, cold and clumsy, finds hers like a lifeline. "What's your name?" he rasps. "Sienna." "Hawk," he whispers back. "Tell them Hawk sent you." Sirens slice the night. Paramedics kneel, quick and calm, moving like a single mind. "2 tablets 3 minutes ago?" one asks. Sienna nods. "Smart move," he says. "You probably saved his life." A younger rider pulls off his helmet. "I'm Cole. He'll want to thank you." He slides a plain white card into her hand, a tiny winged crown pressed into the paper. "Call tomorrow. Please." The ambulance doors slam, the red lights dwindle, and the lot falls back into its fluorescent hum. Sienna stands with $1.50 in change and a decision she can't take back. At home, she writes 3 lines in a little notebook she keeps by the window. Maya is healthy. I helped someone. Tomorrow is a new day. Dawn arrives early and unkind. Mrs. Johnson from down the hall corners her at the door. "Baby, bikers mean trouble. Think about your child." At work, Linda notices the storm in Sienna's face and quietly squeezes her hand. "You did the right thing." 2 voices, one fear and one faith, ring in her head like dueling bells. During her break, Sienna texts the number on the card. It rings immediately. A voicemail lands a minute later. "Murphy's Diner, 3 p.m. Hawk wants to meet you." She almost doesn't go. Then she goes. Bikes line the curb outside the diner like chrome punctuation marks. Inside, the room is full and silent. As Sienna steps through the aisle, riders begin to stand one by one, as if some invisible current runs through the floor. No words, just respect. Cole leads her to a corner booth. Hawk sits there, color back in his cheeks, but a fragility around the eyes that wasn't there a lifetime ago, 12 hours back. "How are you feeling?" Sienna asks. "Alive because of you," he says, and slides a worn photograph across the table. A younger Hawk, a woman, and a bright-eyed little girl wedged between them, grinning like sunlight. "This is Lily," he says. "Leukemia took her when she was 7. We were too late." He breathes, steadying something that wants to break. "I made a promise after that. If someone chooses kindness when they have nothing, we show up. We built Lily's legacy for that reason. We raise money, fix what's broken, and we show up. Hawk pushes himself up, careful but steady. Tomorrow morning, he tells Sienna, don't be scared. The room holds still, as if the air itself is listening. She doesn't fully understand, but she believes him. At 7 the next morning, the windows on Sienna's street tremble in their frames. Engines, dozens of them, roll in from the corner and hush in a long, synchronized exhale. Neighbors freeze on porches, curtains twitch. A phone is lifted, another door is double-latched. Mr. Rodriguez strides up, jaw knotted. You brought a gang here? Maya squeezes her mother's hand. Mommy, I'm scared. Cole steps forward with his hands open. We're not here for trouble, he says gently, but the words carry. 2 nights ago, Sienna saved a life. Today, we're here to save hers. A box truck door slides up. Inside are stacks of boxes and neatly wrapped furniture. Bikers form a line and start passing down groceries, a real bed for Maya, a sturdy couch, shelves, books. Another truck door swings wide. A familiar compact car gleams inside, freshly repaired, the engine so smooth it feels unreal. Cole places an envelope in Sienna's hands. Hawk turns to address the block. I get it, he says. You saw vests and tattoos and got scared. That's human. But this woman looked past the jacket and saw a human being who couldn't breathe. She spent her last $8 so a stranger could live. That's the world I want, where people see people, not costumes. The street exhales. Faces shift. A neighbor who scowled yesterday steps closer, eyes wet. I'm sorry, he says to Sienna. We were wrong. Hands that pointed a minute ago begin to help carry boxes inside. Sienna opens the envelope. There's a check to clear the month. Rent, lights, the tight knot loosening in her chest by degrees. Behind it is a second page, crisp and official. Community Outreach Coordinator at Lily's Legacy, starting immediately. Health insurance on day 1. Maya's inhaler covered, fully and without compromise. Sienna's knees fold, and she sits right down on the new threshold, crying in sudden relief that feels like oxygen. Hawk presses keys into her palm. We bought your car back and fixed it, he says, a little smile tugging like he isn't supposed to smile yet. The same block that judged her an hour ago now carries in beds and books. Mrs. Johnson organizes the kitchen with the precision of someone who has waited a long time to be useful. Mr. Rodriguez huffs up the stairs with a small desk for Maya and grins through an apology. Hawk taps a folder on the counter. Tomorrow we start planning a community center right here, he says. The folder's label reads, Clark House. Sienna shakes her head, overwhelmed. You can't name it after me. We can, Hawk says. And we are. Your first assignment, Hawk adds, is simple. Find someone who needs help. Use the same instincts that saved me. Sienna doesn't pause to think. Mrs. Patterson, she says. 3 doors down. She's 80. I've seen her splitting her heart pills to make them last. They knock. They sit and listen to the way pride and fear twist together when you're old and out of options. Hawk makes a call. By afternoon, a 3-month supply of her medication arrives at the door, paid in full. Mrs. Patterson's hands shake as she holds Sienna's fingers. You did this for me? We did, Sienna says. Together. The clip of 100 bikes on a quiet street hits the internet like a spark. The comments split at first, loud and certain in every direction. Then stories begin to pour in, steady as rain. A veteran is housed. A mother's surgery is paid. A grandfather keeps his home. The hashtag bearing Lily's name climbs not because the bikes are loud, but because the help is real. In the office at Lily's Legacy, Sienna works at a clean desk with a working computer and a phone that rings for reasons that don't terrify her. She reviews applications. She drives to porches and kitchens and living rooms to hear what people need in their own words. She learns the rhythms of hope. how it rises when someone says your name like it matters. Maya thrives. The inhaler sits on the counter, always full. So ordinary now it makes Sienna want to cry with gratitude for how boring a lifesaver can look when it is finally secure. Down the block, the vacant lot that collected weeds and candy wrappers becomes a foundation poured in straight lines. Walls rise. Windows go in. A sign appears. Clark House. On opening day, 43 people walk through the doors, and 43 people walk back out with something they needed. Bags from the food bank, a slot in after-school tutoring, a referral to the clinic, an appointment with a caseworker, a lead on a job. Sienna meets Marcus, 32, a veteran sleeping in his car and waking up every hour to make sure everything he owns is still there. "What do you need?" she asks. "A place to sleep," he says. "A job, a reason to keep going." 1 week later, he's in transitional housing with a training program lined up. 3 months later, he comes back to Clark House in a clean shirt, holds up a set of keys, and laughs while he's crying. "You gave me a second chance," he says. "No," Sienna answers. "You did. I just opened the door." A year from that night, Sienna stands outside the gas station where it began. There's a small plaque on the wall, nothing flashy, just truth pressed into metal. Here, a small act of kindness changed everything. The clerk who once warned her not to get involved studies his shoes, then looks up. "I was wrong," he says. "We all learn," Sienna answers, and means it. That evening, she walks past another station and sees a young dad on the curb with his head in his hands. "My car died," he says. "Daycare closes in 20 minutes. Sienna reaches into her purse, presses a folded bill and a card into his palm. "When you're back on your feet, help someone else," she says. "If you need help, call this number." He looks at the money like a person coming up for air after staying under too long. "I won't forget this." "I know," she says, and walks on, lighter than she's felt in years. 1 year from $8, a life was rewritten, and a neighborhood with it. Not because someone perfect showed up, but because an ordinary mom refused to look away. If this story moved you, don't just watch, act. Tell us who gets your $8 this week. And if you believe kindness beats fear, like, subscribe, and share this so someone else makes the braver choice tomorrow.